Can I play the piano for food? The soft yet determined voice of a 12-year-old girl echoed through the glittering lobby of the Carlton Hotel in New York. Her words sliced through the sound of laughter, champagne glasses, and clinking cutlery, leaving the wealthy guests stunned into silence. Her name was Amelia Brooks. Her hair was messy, her shoes scuffed, and her clothes hung loosely on her small frame. In her hands, she clutched an old backpack that looked ready to fall apart. Hunger had etched shadows under her bright eyes, but there was a stubborn fire in them, a fire that would not die, no matter how hard life had been. The gala, she interrupted, had been organized to raise money for underprivileged youth. Yet Amelia, an underprivileged child herself, stood at the door being mocked. "Did she really just say she'd play the piano for food?" whispered a woman in pearls. Another man chuckled. "She probably doesn't even know how to find middle C." Laughter rippled through the crowd like cruel music. Stepping forward came Victoria Sterling, the 45-year-old organizer of the event. Tall, polished, and dripping with privilege, she lived for moments where she could display her superiority. She raised an eyebrow at Amelia and smirked. "Sweetheart," Victoria said, her voice dripping with condescension. "This is a charity gala, not a talent show. There's a McDonald's down the street." Amelia's voice trembled but held firm. "I only want to play just one song in exchange for a plate of food." The crowd burst into laughter again, enjoying the absurdity. But standing in the back, Dr. Robert Clark, a world-renowned pianist, narrowed his eyes. Something about the way the girl looked at the grand Steinway piano was different. It wasn't the gaze of curiosity. It was recognition, familiarity. "Victoria," he said calmly, "perhaps we should let her try. Isn't this evening about supporting youth talent?" Victoria let out a crystalline laugh, sharp enough to wound. "Robert, look at her. Children like this don't get piano lessons. It's impossible." But Amelia had been trained in the most unlikely way. Her grandmother, Evelyn Brooks, had been a gifted pianist whose career was cut short because of the color of her skin. For 8 precious years, Amelia had been her student, soaking up lessons not just in technique, but in soul. When Evelyn passed away suddenly, Amelia was pulled into the foster care system. The piano was gone, but the music never left her. She practiced on invisible keys in shelters, her fingers dancing across the air. Victoria, enjoying the crowd's attention, raised her manicured hand. "Fine. Since our little guest insists, let's give her a chance, under conditions." She lifted 2 fingers. "1. You will play only one song, and we will choose which one. 2. If you succeed, I'll buy you dinner. But when you fail, and you will, you leave immediately and never come back." The crowd clapped and jeered, ready for a cruel spectacle. Amelia, instead of shrinking, lifted her chin. She remembered her grandmother's words. "When the world tries to silence you, let the music speak." "I accept," Amelia said clearly. The trap was set. Victoria turned to a pianist in the crowd, James Morrison, known for his arrogance. "James, darling, suggest something." He smirked. "Beethoven's Für Elise? Everyone thinks they can play it. Perfect piece for her to stumble over." The crowd roared in agreement. To them, it was a joke. To Amelia, it was destiny. She walked to the Steinway. Each step echoed with determination, and a hush fell over the hall. Some noticed the way she adjusted the bench, measured, precise, professional. Dr. Clark felt a chill. "She's no beginner," he whispered. Amelia placed her small hands on the ivory keys. The first note rang out, pure, rich, and hauntingly beautiful. The crowd froze. This was not the clumsy banging of an amateur. This was mastery. Her fingers slipped gracefully into the melody, shaping each phrase with tenderness. The notes shimmered like raindrops, filling the room with something raw and sacred. Dr. Clark stepped closer, awe building in his chest. Her articulation, her use of dynamics, even the way she pressed the pedal. It was the touch of someone who had been taught with love and discipline. The room transformed. Mockery melted into silence. Waiters stopped mid-step. Guests leaned forward, eyes locked on the girl at the piano. Her music told stories words never could. Nights of hunger, the comfort of a grandmother's embrace, the ache of loss, and the unbreakable spark of hope. Victoria's smile faltered. Coincidence, she muttered, but unease twisted in her stomach. Amelia pressed on, each passage more daring, more powerful. She reached the piece's climax, and the melody soared, echoing triumph and defiance. Some guests felt tears prick their eyes, emotions they hadn't expected at a gala meant for vanity. Victoria tried desperately. She probably memorized this from YouTube. But her voice trembled. Everyone could see. This wasn't imitation. This was truth. Finally, Amelia played the last delicate notes. They hung in the air, shimmering, before fading into a silence heavy with reverence. No one moved. Then, Dr. Clark began to clap. Slowly, firmly, with respect. The applause spread, hesitant at first, then unstoppable. The hall erupted in thunderous ovation. Victoria froze, humiliated. Her cruel plan had backfired. She had tried to disgrace a child, and instead, she had unveiled a prodigy. Amelia turned, her small frame straight and strong. She was no longer just a hungry girl begging for food. She was an artist who had cleaned the room with nothing but music. Dr. Clark approached, his voice trembling. "Young lady, where did you learn? Who taught you?" Amelia looked him in the eye. "My grandmother, Evelyn Brooks. She told me music is the one thing no one can ever take away." The name struck him like lightning. Evelyn Brooks? She was extraordinary. One of the greatest pianists denied her rightful place. She trained dozens of students who carried her legacy. And you? You are her granddaughter? Gasps rippled through the audience. Some remembered the name, whispered in music circles with reverence. Victoria, desperate, snapped. "So what? She's still just a homeless kid begging for scraps." Amelia stood tall, her voice steady. "Yes, I am poor. Yes, I am hungry. But talent doesn't belong only to the wealthy. Dignity doesn't come from money. And music, it belongs to everyone." The crowd fell silent, struck by her words. Dr. Clark placed a hand on her shoulder. "Amelia, you don't belong in shelters. You belong on the grandest stages, and I promise you, we will get you there." The applause thundered again, not just for her music, but for her courage. And so, in one unforgettable night, a starving girl silenced mockery, humbled arrogance, and reminded everyone of a truth too often forgotten. Never judge someone by their appearance or their poverty. True greatness lives not in privilege, but in the strength of the human spirit. If you believe every child deserves a chance, no matter where they come from, share this story. Because sometimes, the most powerful symphonies rise not from concert halls, but from the hearts of those the world tried to ignore.